Hi, my name is Aatish. I'm a former software engineer who was wanting to attend graduate school and change careers, and I naturally had to take the GRE. And TTP was a service that really helped me get my dream score and helped me get into graduate school. So when I first started preparing for the GRE, I took a mock test and my score was 315. And I decided to use TTP's resources in my 7-week preparation cycle. And just after 7 weeks of studying, I was able to get a score of a 329, which broke down to a 168 on the quantitative section and a 161 on the verbal section on my first attempt. I mostly use TTP as well as some other online resources, and I had not taken the GRE once before starting the TTP course. And like this testimony, I discovered TTP after reading numerous testimonials online with people especially lauding its quantitative section, which a lot of people said had helped them, increase their scores by like an order of magnitude of 10 to 15 points, which is what I was looking for because the quantitative section actually was a lower score for me at that time. And I think that the best part of the TTP course, especially for the quantitative section, is all the tips and tricks it teaches you to answer questions in a fraction of the time that it would take if you didn't know those tips and tricks. I feel that the GRE, especially the quantitative section, is not only testing, some advanced concepts, but it's also testing, can you quickly answer a question so you have more time to answer more difficult future questions. When I was first prepping for the GRE, I didn't really know that, so I would often, spend more time than I should have on a few questions, and then I would always run out of time and not have enough time to finish the last 4 or 5 questions, which would lower my score dramatically. And I read TTP talking about that phenomenon and how to prevent that from happening. I guess if I was studying again for the GRE and I was using TTP, I would do a lot of the same strategies that I did before. Namely, I would alternate between studying quant and verbal days. And I think that's a really important strategy because, of course, when you're studying the GRE, you don't want to get burnt out. And especially with the quantitative section, when you're learning all these new topics, if you're learning them, in rapid succession, it could take time for those topics and fundamentals to really sit in, and in a way that you're actually able to understand it and answer some tough questions relating to it. By alternating between quant and verbal days, I felt that, on the off day for a given section, kind of subconsciously that information would set in. So when I would attempt a problem the next day, and at that point it would have been 2 days since I studied that type of question. It just seemed to be a lot easier and like part of my second nature compared to what I would have felt the day before. And I think the other thing that I would do is prepare flashcards of like some different formulas that you would need to know, or like different tricks about, greatest common factor or least common denominator. And really kind of make sure you memorize the tips and tricks that TTP TTP teaches you, because some of these tips and tricks, they're not, when you actually can get to the point of understanding them, they make sense, but to actually recall them on exam day and to actually understand like the format and structure of a question and realizing what trick to use, that connection can be kind of harder to fathom. So I think preparing flashcards of certain question types and the connected tip and trick is extremely useful. But overall, TTP was a huge part of my GRE preparation journey. I attribute a lot to it, especially for increasing my score so dramatically over 7 weeks, and I would recommend it to everybody. Thank you.